On the news tonight, Federal High Court nullifies candidature of Alex Oti, all Labour Party candidates in Abia and Kano states. Police insists the RT driver raped and murdered 22-year-old Bamishe Ayonwola. And Senate Ad Hoc Committee begins holistic investigation into alleged unauthorized spending by the NDDC. A warm welcome to News Now. I am Mary Kanu. Justice Muhammad Yunusa of the Federal High Court Kano has nullified the candidature of the Abia State Governor-elect Alex Oti and all the candidates of the Labour Party in Abia and Kano states in the suit filed by Ibrahim Haruna Ibrahim against the Labour Party and the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC). The court ruled that the failure of the Labour Party to submit its membership register to the INEC within 30 days before their primaries renders the process invalid. Justice Yunusa ruled that the party did not comply with the provisions of the Electoral Act and cannot be said to have a candidate in an election, therefore cannot be declared winner of an election. Meanwhile, following the crisis at the Labour Party, the suspended National Secretary of the party, Abayomi Arabambi, has blamed the crisis rocking the party on the suspended chairman, Julius Abure, accusing him of receiving 500 million naira to destabilize the party. In an address, Arabambi accused Abure of working with the President-elect Bola Ahmed Tinubu, adding that despite the order of the court, the party's presidential candidate, Peter Obi, continues to show respect to Abure, leading to clashes by party members.
In Kano today, to submit an next party application against a Bachofu Lamida-led executive, where they want the court to set aside the judgment of FCTI court. I kept wondering, Abure that called himself a lawyer, running up and down, against what they call for this forum shopping. You are in Benin, he filed a motion ex parte, he knew he had made a mistake, only for him to run to Kano. Kano, where we have our head office in Abuja here, he ran to Kano through one Raji and a postor as the chairman of the party there. And we got to win, and we asked our lawyer to appear. We are now being told to put on notice, though that their ex parte application has failed. Also, they filed an application that we should not be allowed to touch the money in Zenith Bank. By themselves, they know they have their reason, and it's part of what is causing problem in Labour Party. We are now at the verge of losing the only governor that we have due to gross incompetence of Abure, the suspended national chairman, in connivance with Mr. Peter Obi, because they were the one that were toying with all the northern states then. All of you remember, in the constitution of the presidential campaign committee, all the northern states, they put a southeast man as the coordinator and a northerner as the deputy coordinator. This was what causes us to lose all the governorship candidates, the Senate, the rep, before the election to APC and PDP, in Kano, in Jigawa, in Bauchi, in Yobe, in Zamfara, in Sokoto, because all these people, they ventilated their anger that why will you put a non-indigene of their state above them? Is it because the northerners are not qualified?
Well, to speak more on this development with the Labour Party, I'm now being joined on the news by legal expert Destiny Takon. Thank you very much for joining me. Now, the 2022 Electoral Act, clearly states that every political party vying for a position must make its party register available to INEC not later than 30 days before the date fixed for the party primaries, congresses, or even convention. But what we are witnessing with the Labour Party, is this an end result of what many analysts had described was a structureless party?
This is a legal issue. Very clearly, it has nothing to do with structure. Structure in the sense used in the foggy political Nigerian climate, it simply refers to ways and means of grabbing power at all costs. It has nothing to do with, even the structure of a party. So now even the structure without deviating from the question, that we're talking about, in fact, indeed, Nigerians have proven that the structure is indeed the people. The only thing perhaps that we still have issues with in Nigeria is the fact that the electoral umpire needs to be indeed unbiased and very dispassionate, so that we could always have results of election that express the actual will of the people. So what I'm saying is, this has nothing to do with structure. This is a legal issue. The grounds upon which that order, prima facie, are hinged are strictly legal grounds, to the fact that the party failed to comply with the provisions of the Electoral Act, 2022. So it has nothing to do with structure. Now, and of course, also, what you have is an ex-party order. The other party, the Labour Party and the candidate involved, see have the opportunity, to put their case before the court and for the court to consider the other side. But of course, usually this kind of injunctions or orders are given where an apparent case of urgency is presented before the court. And as usually the court would ask that, the party who applies, should, amongst other things, give an undertaking as to damages, amongst other things, and then also file a motion of notice, which would have to be served along with the order on the party affected. So strictly answering your question, it does not have anything to do with the structure of the party or alleged lack of structure of the party. It is strictly a legal issue. And even for that structure, I've said, of course,
all right, now we saw the rise of the Labour Party, and this was welcomed with joy by many. But with the crisis rocking the party, how do you see this affecting, say, other emerging political parties in the country?
Say that again. Hello, Mary.
All right. If you can hear me, I said, how do you see this crisis rocking the Labour Party? How do you see it affecting other emerging political parties in the country?
Oh, well, not exactly. The issues with Labour definitely and strictly have to do with the, relationship with the structure, of the party and its leadership. It is clear, it's been clear that the structure of the party, the leadership has had issues, as you can see. The national chairman of the party is said to be suspended, and but that will not, for instance, apply with to other parties. So it is something, in my view, to do with what is happening in Labour may not necessarily have to affect other parties, unless if they also have structural issues. We are aware of structural issues in the APC, we're aware of structural issues in the PDP and in other parties, but as to how far, the parties and the leadership of the party, allow that to affect them and the performance or the outcome of competitive elections is another thing altogether. So I do not think that what is happening right now with the Labour Party would have a bearing or direct effect, on the performance of other parties.
Well, all right. Now, legal expert Destiny Takon, thank you very much for your time and your contribution. Moving on now to other stories, the cross-examination and trial of a bus rapid transit driver, Andrew Ominikoron, who allegedly raped and murdered Oluwabamishi Ayonwola, a 22-year-old fashion designer, resumed before Justice Sharifat Shinaike of the Lagos High Court, sitting at the Tafawa Balewa Square. Speaking after the cross-examination in the court, the sister of the deceased, Oluwadamilola Ayonwola, said the defendant's lawyer, Abayomi Omotubora, had constantly been absent and the case had been adjourned 3 consecutive times, leading to delay. Meanwhile, after Thursday's trial, Justice Sharifat Shinaike adjourned the case to July 5th and 6, 2023 for continuation of trial.
With what happened today, I've not really seen anything like that, because all that were done today are something that were to be done since, but because of the delay with the defense counsel is absent, has cost us nothing till today, because they are just dragging the matter backward. They have been giving my aged parents a lot of headache. They have not been happy. They have not been okay. They have not been healthy. My parents, ever since I knew them, ever since I was born, I have never seen my father having headache or my mother having blood pressure. But now, Lagos State has cost my parents their health. They have damaged my parents' health. So they should please and please, for the sake of justice for the deceased. She has worked. She is a security woman. She has really worked on security for every citizen, and they should please work on that.
The upper chamber of the National Assembly has expressed concern over why the Niger Delta Development Commission NDDC operated for 2 years without a budget. Expressing concern over developments in the NDDC, the chairman of the Senate Ad Hoc Committee investigating the 2021 and 2022 budgets of the commission, Yusuf, pointed out that the action of the commission did not follow the constitution. There's more details in this next report. The Senate Ad Hoc Committee has begun the holistic investigation into alleged unauthorized spending by the Niger Delta Development Commission. At the resumed investigative hearing led by a 7-member panel chaired by Senator Yusuf, the committee expressed dissatisfaction with the Minister of Niger Delta Affairs, Umana Okun Umana, over alleged spendings by the NDDC.
While it is utmost desire of this committee that NDDC budget must take care of the general interest of the people of the region, as they are seriously craving for development and empowerment. In view of this, we require an overview of NDDC 2021-2022 budget estimates from the Honorable Minister of Niger Delta Affairs.
Explaining why the budget of the commission was delayed, the Minister of Niger Delta Affairs said a forensic investigation ordered by President Muhammadu Buhari delayed the 2021 budget transmission.
When I came and discovered they had no, because they briefed me when I came as my parastatal, and I said, where is your budget for 2021? They said they had submitted. It's with the presidency. And at that time, they were working to conclude the 2022 draft. And within 2 weeks, they said that draft was also ready. So I then forwarded the 2022 for onward transmission to the National Assembly, and then did a reminder that the 2021 budget has still not been transmitted.
Scrutinizing the ministry, some of the committee members said it was a breach of the constitution for the NDDC to carry out expenditure of the budget estimates without approval.
Which is that the constitution allows you, and the other extant rules also allow an agency to incur expenditures not exceeding the expenditures incurred in the previous year when there is no budget. Now that is clearly understood. Now that means that it's not everything that accrues to NDDC for 2021 and 2022 that should be expended.
When I started time you joined as a minister, because even before the minister you were the MD, and by the time you joined as the minister by July 2022, does it mean that they never came to you, the ministry, for any approval? Does it mean that you never asked about the passage of 2021 budget and 2022? Does it mean that you are just running the office without having any knowledge of financial transactions of the ministry? Because that's actually what you're trying to employ.
Responding to the committee on the financial records and expenditures of the commission, the minister said it was not in its capacity to know if the NDDC was exceeding its budget.
The CEO has his own threshold. Beyond that, he goes to his management, the parastatals. Beyond that threshold, it goes to the ministerial. It is the CEO who would say this procurement is beyond my threshold so that I don't get into trouble. He will then write to say this one should be handled by the ministerial tenders box. If he doesn't write, nobody will interfere.
In his concluding remarks, the committee chairman said while the committee would cooperate with the NDDC to actualize its mandates, the lawmakers will not hesitate to stand against abnormalities. Mary Kanu, TV360, Nigeria. Well, we'll take a break here, but still to come, Nigeria targets 30 gigawatt electricity by 2030 as President Muhammadu Buhari launches Kashimbele multi-purpose dam. I'll bring you details of the story and more when we return. Join us again.
Opinions are free, facts are sacred, but truth is universal.
How, in practical terms, can we, for instance, de-escalate the tension?
President must see himself as the President of the Federal Republic.
We know where the enemy is. 3 places. The Lake Chad Basin, the border area between Nigeria and Cameroon, and then the Sambisa Forest.
On Digi 360, we give you a complete dose of everything. Opinion, facts and undiluted truth.
I hardly believe what politicians say in this part of the world.
A new Nigeria is possible, a future is possible.
We delve into the issues, dissect it so that you can understand it, and use it to take action.
I don't think there's any need for any governor to look for grant for ranching.
Digi 360, dissecting the issues.
Welcome back. Here's a recap of our top stories tonight. Justice Muhammad Yunusa of the Federal High Court Kano has nullified the candidature of the Abia State Governor-elect Alex Oti and all 3 candidates of the Labour Party in Abia and Kano states. Justice Yunusa ruled that the party did not comply with the provisions of the Electoral Act and cannot be said to have a candidate in an election, therefore cannot be declared winner of an election. The judge also added that the votes credited to Alex Oti are wasted votes. We also told you that the cross-examination and trial of a bus rapid transit driver, Andrew Ominikoro, who allegedly raped and murdered Oluwabamise Ayonwola, a 22-year-old fashion designer, resumed before Justice Sherifat Chunaike of the Lagos High Court, sitting at the Tafawa Balewa Square. Speaking after the cross-examination in the court, the sister of the deceased, Oluwadamilola, said the defendant's lawyer, Abayomi Omotoboro, had constantly been absent and the case has been adjourned 3 consecutive times, leading to delay. Well, in case you missed any of the news bulletin or for more updates, you can catch us on LimeXport TV or log on to our website on www.tv360nigeria.com. You can also follow us on our social media platforms on Twitter, Instagram and YouTube at TV360 Nigeria. On Facebook, we're at TV360 Online. And now to COVID-19 update. Scientists have called on the group of 7 to take urgent action to tackle the world's lack of preparedness for the next pandemic, warning that developing countries continue to lack access to life-saving treatments and vaccines. In an open letter published to coincide with the G7 summit in Hiroshima, Japan, the People's Vaccine Alliance said scientific advances made during the COVID-19 pandemic still primarily benefit the wealthiest countries and the bottom lines of pharmaceutical companies. The group said it is critical that in the next health crisis, the world rapidly deploys medical countermeasures in every country, regardless of the ability to pay. We'll take a break here, but news now returns shortly. Join us again. Welcome back. It's time for business news and stock market report with Folashade Ogorinde. Over to you, Folashade.
Well, many thanks, Mary. And in business, President Muhammadu Buhari has declared that Nigeria is targeting 30 gigawatts of electricity by the year 2030. Speaking while virtually inaugurating some projects, including the Kashim Beta multi-purpose dam in Taraba State at the Council Chamber, State House in Abuja, the president underscored the importance of the project. He said the electricity Vision initiative aims to have renewable energy contribute to at least 30% to the energy mix, thereby expediting the expansion of electricity access.
The Kishimbila multi-purpose dam in Taraba State, with storage capacity of 500 million cubic meters, was conceived principally to checkmate the threat of the imminent collapse of the structurally weak and poisonous Lake Nyos, located at the line of volcanic activities in Cameroon Republic, which collapse could result in flooding and affecting millions of lives and properties. Even though the dam was meant to serve as a buffer to contain possible discharge of water of Lake Nyos, the engineering design maximized the benefits of the Kishimbila ecosystem by incorporating a 40 megawatt hydropower station, 60,000 cubic meter per day water supply scheme, 2,000 hectares of irrigation system and airstrip, fishing activities, and tourism potentials. This is phase one of our evacuation component of the project, comprising the 132 kV situated 4 substations at Takum, Ukari, Rafinkada, Donga, and the rehabilitation of existing 132 kV Yendeb substation.
We'll take a break now and be back with a review of the stock market. Just stay with us. At the end of the last weekday of trading, the benchmark all-share index inched up 78.50 points to close at 52,187.93 with a market capitalization of 28.42 trillion naira. Now, of the 112 listed equities that participated in trading, 32 finished strong, leaving 12 equities lagging. Tantalizers and FTN cocoa processors were the darling of traders today, topping the winners table with a combined gain of 66 kobo. Now, the losers chart Adova came out last with an end-of-day price appreciation, followed by Computer Warehouse Group. They both accrued a combined loss of 21 naira 69 kobo. In all, a total of 584 million units of shares valued at 6.61 billion naira were traded in 5,312 days. Now, I switch to some of our select global stocks. The FTSE and Nikkei ended in a bullish trend at 0.19% and 0.77%. Now, stocks on the Dow Jones ended on a negative note at 0.4% as the ongoing debt ceiling debate in Washington hit a stalling point and investors continue to digest a better than feared first quarter earnings season. And that's it on business news and stock market review. Back to you, Mary, for the rest of the news.
Many thanks for the update, Folashade. Now on the global scene, leaders from the group of 7 nations have agreed to new sanctions that they say would starve Russia of G7 technology, industrial equipment and services that support its war machine. The move comes after the United States, Britain and the European Union all announced fresh efforts to turn the screws on Moscow 15 months into Vladimir Putin's full-scale invasion of Ukraine. The group also pledged to restrict trade-in and use of diamonds mined, processed or produced in Russia, including with the use of tracing technologies. Well, it's time for Entertainment Report.
highly anticipated night edition of the African Magic Viewers' Choice Award (AMVCA) kicked off in a grand style yesterday, May 18th, with an enthralling cultural show. It was a celebration of African rich culture as the opening night in Cultural Day event held at the Federal Palace Hotel and Casino, Lagos on Thursday to kick off the series of activities preceding the night edition of the AMVCA scheduled to hold on Saturday. Busola Tejumola, the executive head of content and West Africa channels at the MultiChoice Nigeria, emphasized that this year's edition of the AMVCA aims to elevate the standard of recognition and rewards for talent in the diverse realms of African film and television industry. Popular social media celebrity Ismailia Mustafa, popularly known as Mofa, has denied the rumor making rounds that he has been rearrested and arraigned by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC) for money laundering to the tune of 6 billion naira. Mofa said he was not arrested and made a live video on his verified Instagram page on Friday. Mofa was seen playing and dancing to Timaya Sweet Us to validate that he is free and not in the EFCC nest. That's it on the entertainment segment of News Now. Tamilore Akinkolye, TV360 Nigeria.
Now in sports, ahead of the 2026 World Cup, football governing body FIFA has pulled all the stops for a dramatic unveiling of the tournament's branding in Los Angeles. FIFA President Gianni Infantino and two-time World Cup winner with Brazil, Ronaldo, unveiled the official brand of the FIFA World Cup 2026 at the iconic Griffith Observatory. Affirming the inclusive nature of the FIFA World Cup, Infantino emphasized that the biggest ever global celebration of football will be an opportunity to bring the world together.
Well, it's a message of togetherness, of unity. Football unites the world and has to unite as well the young generation in a world which seems to be more and more divided. We need occasions to bring people together, and we really believe that 26 World Cup will bring people together, and we all are 26. We all identify ourselves with 26.
Well, I think their experience is going to be tremendous. First, a game day experience will be tremendous with the outstanding venues that we have, but also in between the games, their experience will be, I think, tremendous with the cities we have, and obviously, our region is used to hosting from a tourism standpoint and all the attractions that we have. So I think from game to game and even in between games, I think the customer experience will be second to none.
That's our package this evening. Thank you for watching. I am Mary Kanu.